Hello, friends, and welcome to my today's lecture, that is the third part of Jaya's character in That Long Silence by Shashi Deshpande. In my last two lectures on the same topic, I had mentioned that the novelist Shashi Deshpande strongly protests against the patriarchal society or the male dominated society and also the man made conventions and rules. And that the story is actually unfolded by Jaya, the main character herself. And in the novel, we see Jaya is like any other woman who leads a very traditional and a passive life. Shashi has also tried to depict the subaltern position of women in the society through her novels. She also relates the fact that it was not only the patriarchal system which was responsible for women's miserable position, but also that there were other strong reasons too. Now, women were following the traditional role of a mother, wife, etc., but they were also responsible for being subjugated. Now, the main thought that was stressed was that women should not victimize themselves, they should erase the silence and also try to give voice to their inner conflicts. I had also mentioned about the family background of Jaya, the family from which she comes, where she had two different types of characters in her grandmother who wanted her to be like any other traditional woman, and a father who wanted her to establish her identity. And her father had been very supportive all throughout her life. I had also mentioned the three women from Indian mythology, Sita, Savitri, and Draupadi, who had followed their husbands, where Jaya was not allowed to follow such role models. And also mentioned the mutual relationship between Jaya and her husband, Mohan. And even I had mentioned that this novel questions the nature of relationship between the two and the silence that had been there between them, which grew more unsteady and dismal with times, and had also narrated the story which led to that silence on part of Jaya in order to maintain harmony in the house. And also, I had mentioned the three phases of feminism, talking about the first one being of accusation, and the second phase basically that we are talking about in this novel is protest, and the third one will come later on. Now, today I'll be doing the remaining part. What we see is that Jaya had been very contented and devoted to her husband and taking care of her kids, and she found solace in it. But the blissful life that she was leading, that bliss didn't last long, because Mohan was embroiled in allegations of forgery at his workplace, and actually it was here that the downfall of Jaya's family started, and then they had to shift from their place in Churchgate in Mumbai to an impoverished flat in Dadar, which was a dingy place, and the kids stayed with their neighbors in the Churchgate itself. Her husband also lost his job due to financial inquiry, and now this was a time when Jaya had to support her husband by comforting words and her presence, but she failed to do so, and because she found it very hard to share his grief, for their relationship was strained and they both grew apart. A few more incidents actually make them grow so distant that Jaya is left all alone due to husband leaving the house. And even her son gets missing later on, and she's left totally devastated. She can feel from within and is actually lonely and depressed because she realizes her fault in not helping her husband when he needed her support and understanding. She recognizes that the silence which had crept between the two, and how it had destroyed their mutual trust and excuse me, communication. She also recognizes this long silence within herself that she had been neglecting since childhood. Now things do take an upbeat turn when she receives a telegram from Mohan that he'd been returning back. Now even the inquiry at his work was completed and he was given a reprieve. Now it is towards the end that we see Jaya realizes that life can always be made possible. Jaya, who was earlier the impulsive woman, she transforms into a matured, new matured woman, and after going through a period of struggle, doubt, and loneliness. Now, once she realizes this, all the shadows that befall between the husband and the wife, they tend to disappear. Now she feels determined to never again let such, in quotes, long silence, unquote, come between the two or within herself. She had broken her silence and was a new, relaxed being. So it is the whole journey of Jaya from a state of weakness and feeling of failure to that of relaxation, which is done by Jaya herself through self assessment and self criticism. In that sense, this novel is an expression of modern Indian wife. Shashi Deshpande has been successful in depicting through Jaya the inner conflicts of a woman, her quest for self or identity, because Jaya represents half the race. And through Jaya, the issue of gross gender discrimination has also been dealt with. For Jaya also represents the upper middle class women and their position in society. That's all about Jaya's character. I'll be coming up with more aspects on the same novel. Till then, goodbye and thank you, friends.